So what chance do we have of fixing up the sport by just saying to judges, yeah, just score down people who are shredded? And guess what? People who die at competitions, that is the tip of the iceberg. Coach Greg, and I think it's becoming more and more apparent that bodybuilding is in fact the world's most dangerous or deadliest sport. Bodybuilding's latest tragedy is Alina Kosanova, who passed away after competing at her latest bodybuilding competition. This is not the first time. There have been many bodybuilders that have passed away at competitions. Mohammed Benaziza, Andrians Munzer, and others have died while competing in bodybuilding competitions. But what can be done? Can something be done? Jake Wood, the owner of the Olympia, well, he thinks something can be done. He's trying to tell the judges that they should no longer score highly people who are shredded and not have as much emphasis on being shredded or having as much muscle. But will that work? No. It won't work at all. It's not like they haven't tried this before. The figure competitors were told, come in 20% smaller, 20% less rep. We want you to look more feminine. After all, it's figure, it's not bodybuilding. We want the smaller females. So what happened? People who didn't come in as shredded, didn't come in with as much muscle, and placed last. And who were the winners? The most shredded, most massive women. And look at figure women today. They're huge, massive. Tons of muscle, most of which you would say are in fact bodybuilders. Even in bikini, the girls have a ton of muscle and most are on PDs. So what chance do we have of fixing up the sport by just saying to judges, yeah, just score down people who are shredded? And guess what? People who die at competitions, that is the tip of the iceberg. Think of it. How many more people do you think die a year later? After they've retired, 5 years later, 10 years later, of an early death, heart attack, stroke, kidney failure, the list goes on and on and on. Bodybuilding, when taken to the extreme, can shorten your life. I did a video saying, what's more dangerous, bodybuilding or obesity? And I said they're about the same. Wasn't clickbait. Now, of course, if you just work out, eat healthy, don't abuse PDs, compete natural, of course it's not as dangerous and most likely very healthy to do. But deaths that occur in bodybuilding, tip of the iceberg. And it's not just deaths or early deaths, it's also mental health, body dysmorphia, eating disorders, and so on. There are so many negative things happening in bodybuilding, but it isn't necessarily bodybuilding's fault. No. It's what the audience wants to see. It's what the competitors want. People who compete, they want to be the biggest, freakiest, leanest. They want to be the best in the world, the ones that stand out the most. If you just say to bodybuilders, yeah, don't get as ripped, don't have as much muscle, and do it natural. Let's do the honor system. Bodybuilding, it's natural. Just please don't abuse PDs. Don't take too many diuretics. Is that going to help? Of course not. It's going to make no difference at all. So some of the suggestions, well, let's do some drug testing for diuretics. It's been done. Remember when Sean Ray won the Arnold Classic and they took his first place prize away? Jay Cutler failed the test and they said, oh, don't worry about it. That's okay. And listen to these suggestions. It's not downsizing conditioning. We need to just educate the athletes. Education. You really think sending in a brochure saying, hey, be careful with diuretics and abusing drugs, be careful, don't do it, just say no, is that going to work? Pretty sure everyone already knows it's dangerous, but they still do it. Or how's this? We need to offer more financial support to the female competitors. Their prize money isn't high enough. Yeah, let's add a zero to their prize money. Let's make them win $500,000. That will decrease their incentive to get shredded, to abuse PDs. The more money you win, the more motivated you are to try to win. It'll only make it worse, not better. One of the big problems, I've been telling this to people for decades, is not to get so freaking fat in the off season. Bulk and cut. Oh, Coach Ray, you don't know anything. This is what bulk and cut does. You bulk up, you gain a lot of weight. Off season, I'm massive. Guess what? Now you got to get shredded. And you're dieting. And you're not lean enough. You're not shredded enough. What does the coach do? Do 3 hours cardio, 4 hours. Abuse Clen, abuse DNP, dangerous drug. Increase that T3 dose. Stop eating, starve yourself. Oh, you're still not shredded? Diuretics for a week straight. No water for 2 days before the show. We need to win. We need to be shredded. You were fat in the off season, and now you will do whatever it takes to make it to the show. Abuse, wreck drugs, whatever to make it to the show. I know what people do. I'm a professional bodybuilder, 45 years of age, done 59 competitions. You don't think I know what other competitors are doing to get to the show? All because there's so much pressure to look your best. No one does a competition wanting to come last. Most people, they want to win, or at least look their best. And if you're behind because you bulk too much in the off season, guess what? You are going to be willing to do whatever it takes to make it to the show, to make it to the stage, to not be embarrassed that people say, oh, you were off. Yeah, you compete at 7% instead of 5%. You're way off. But that is the mentality of the athletes because they want to be the best in the world. And it's the same in the amateur as the pros. It's not limited to just pros. And what have I been preaching? The standards have gotten crazy, mind-blowing. Men's physique, the board shorts division that people used to make fun of, they still make fun of it, but guess what? They're bigger than me. I'm an IFBB pro bodybuilder. Men's physique guys are bigger than Coach Greg. When I compete at a show, getting spray tan and so on, they say, oh, are you in men's physique? And I'm like, no. That's how big they are. Bigger arms, chest, everything. They're massive individuals. And so what I've said is you need to add a new division for regular folk, a look that normal people can aspire to without abusing PEDs. Could they simply implement drug testing? Would that solve it? Yup. But guess what? They'd lose money. Less people would compete, less people would show up to watch the shows, and so they would lose money, and so they can't just drug test. It doesn't work. They've done drug-tested IFBB pro shows. Hardly anyone competes and hardly anyone shows up and there's hardly any prize money. There are in fact natural organizations, but they don't do well. People don't attend the shows. They want to see the freaks. Consider this, my own example. I was the overall drug-tested national champion of Canada. Mr. Canada, Coach Greg. I did it. Won the natural. Best in the country, natural. And guess what? People say, hey, are you going to do the nationals? And be like, I did. I won overall. No, I mean the real show. I'm like, I did the real show, the natural one. I won overall. Drug tested show. No, the real one where they don't drug test. What do you mean? This is the real show. The other one is the one where they don't drug test. Yeah, but it's way harder to win that show. I'm like, I had to do this natural. No drugs, no PDs, natty, get shredded diet with no performance enhancing benefits. Yeah, but how would you do against the real competitors? The real competitors. So guess what? You get no respect when you're a natural competitor from the people who are enhanced. And the people who are natural, they don't believe you're natural anyway. If you're the best in your country, the best in the world natural, everyone is going to assume you're a fake natty. And guess what? Oh, can you sponsor me? I'm the drug-tested national champion. So? Hey, you guys want to hire me for coaching? Well, what do you know? You're not that big. You're not crazy shredded. You probably don't know anything. What do you mean? I know a lot. I've studied it. And then guess what? When you take PDs and you put on 20 pounds of muscle, you get more shredded than before. Wow, you must know what you're doing. I knew what I was doing and now I'm taking PDs. Yeah, I'm going to hire you. Wow, you look amazing. We're going to sponsor you. Wow, look at this contract. Happened to Coach Greg. So do you think it's just going to be fixed by having drug testing? No. Bodybuilding is an inherently dangerous sport, arguably the most dangerous sport in the world. So is it the sport of bodybuilding that's the problem or the people that compete and watch the sport that's the problem? Which is it? Because would you go to the Mr. Olympia if it was drug tested and everyone was natural and everyone looked way worse than they currently do? How many people do you think competing at the top are natural? If they drug tested, would that work? And if they drug tested, who's paying for that? Think of how much it costs for an actual test that actually works. IOC accredited drug test, $1,000 a test. Who's paying for that? Most IFBB pro shows, they're paying out $10,000 or less for first place. You test all the competitors, there goes the prize money. Are the pros going to compete for free? Where is the money coming from? And are we going to be drug testing these people in the off season? Athlete whereabout forms? Showing up at your door 3 months out, or just at the show? Because if you drug test at the competition, what happens is everyone will use the same things, cut them out a week before the show, pass the test, and yeah, it makes it a bit safer, but everyone just then has to beat the test. It wouldn't actually be natural. Natural on that day, but would they really be natural? Of course not. And are we just using the honor system? Everybody, we really care about your health here at the IFBB. We care about your health. We want you to be natural, so please don't take anything too far. Don't abuse anything, or don't take anything at all. Honor system. It's not going to work. As of late, a lot of criticism towards Coach Shelby Starms, who was coaching this female, and apparently has coached others who have suffered the same fate. And so, is it that person's fault? Well, partially. But it's also the fault of the athletes who are listening to this individual. They'll do anything to win. Win at all costs, whatever it takes. So when they say, if you take DNP, if you add in more Clen, if you add in more T3, you'll burn a little bit more fat and you might make it. If you cut your water for a few more hours, maybe you could win this show. If not, you're just not ripped enough. You bulked too much in the off season, or you didn't do enough cardio. You didn't starve yourself hard enough. You didn't want it hard enough. It's up to you. I can tell you, but it's dangerous. Guess what? People are still going to do it. They're still going to do it. Oftentimes I've coached people and said, this is the most I would ever take and it's not safe. This is my maximum dosage. I don't know, I did it, but I don't want you to, but do what you want, but that's what I've done. And then they say, okay, I'm going to do that, but I'll take double everything you said. I don't make this shit up. Double everything you said. I'll give my most advanced, most dangerous cycle I've done. And I'm going to double everything you said because they want to win. So my thoughts, all you can do is offer a healthy alternative to what's currently taking place. You'll never get rid of what's happening right now because people, the fans, the competitors, they want that. You have to offer a healthy alternative. A drug-tested Mr. Olympia, Open Men's Champion, Classic Physique, Men's Physique, and so on. That way the athletes have the choice. Chris Bumstead could say, I'm switching over to the natural competition. I'm going to be tested. I don't want to be this big. I don't want to take any risk whatsoever. No more. Nothing. His choice. Or he can do the same thing. Doesn't matter.
It doesn't matter.
It's your choice. Big Ramy could say, had enough of this. I'm going into the natural division. I'm going to drop 50 pounds of muscle, but I'm going to come back and I'm going to try to win the natural Olympia. That's the only way. McDonald's isn't going to stop selling the Big Mac. Wendy's not stopping selling their burgers, but they should offer a healthy alternative. They still have salads on the menu. You can go to a fast food restaurant and still eat something healthy. They give you the alternative, the choice, so that the choice becomes yours. And if you choose to risk your health, it's on you. What are they going to do? Go to the bar and have a breathalyzer and say, you can't blow over 0.08 or you can't come in? Think of it, is getting drunk or abusing recreational drugs healthy? Of course not. But should they shut down all bars? Have breathalyzers and drug tests at the door and on the way out? You can't just shut down all the bars. People are going to choose what they're going to do. And it's not always healthy. You can do everything and anything to make it safer, but it's still not going to be safe. And I've been preaching this for years. They need to add another division, a healthier division with less emphasis on shreds and size that is more realistic to achieve. The women, they keep adding more divisions. Women's wellness, does that help any? No, of course not. Have you seen women's wellness? Quads of Coach Greg, tiny waist, looking like bikini models. That's not healthier. You think they're all natural? No one's getting Brazilian butt lifts? No one's doing anything, implant surgeries, taking massive amounts of drugs to get shredded? It's called wellness. They don't look well. They look like freaks. Mind-blowing freaks, amazing, shocking, wow, you want to look, but it's not healthy. It's not well. And where do you see men's competitors competing at 15%? Where is there a winner with double-digit body fats? I don't see it. So until they add more divisions with less emphasis on being so massive and freaky, people don't have the choice. So if you do want to compete in bodybuilding, that's on you. Choice is yours. Ending it here. Those are the bloops. Watch those. Harder than last time supplements. Click the link in the description. Also, we want you for ambassador program to promote and sell these products. We will pay you to do so. Training books, cookbooks, plural, lots of these. Coaching plans by me and my team. Be sure to hire me for that. And until next time, I am out.